Please tell us about the most important event in your life that has affected your political views and how the lessons you learned from that event will be put to use in your work in the legislature.
I was raised by a single mother, and I was an only child. So my mom and I were really close, and I was treated much more like an adult in that household than was probably good for me. When I was 15 or 16, my mother was working at Emory Hospital, and she decided to try to unionize the non-medical workers at Emory. So I was in all of those meetings around our dining room table with the AFL-CIO, planning strategy, talking about labor laws, and generally just figuring out how we were going to do this. And I walked the picket lines with her. Well, eventually, she was fired for trying to do this. And that was illegal, even in a right-to-work state. And I'll never forget that afternoon sitting at our dining room table with the AFL-CIO lawyers and them telling us that they were not going to take her case to the National Labor Relations Board. And what they said was, since Ronald Reagan had just taken office, that the case probably wouldn't be heard anyway, and it would be a waste of resources. Even though 2 years ago, it would have been open and shut. So I sat there as a young teenager and I realized government matters. Who's in the White House all the way in Washington matters in my life as a teenager in Atlanta. And Raleigh is a lot closer to us than Washington, D.C. When I am in Raleigh and I'm crafting legislation or even voting on a piece of legislation, it will always be in the front of my mind that that's not a piece of political, a pawn, something that I can negotiate with. This is not something that I'm playing around with. Every single vote that I make will affect someone's life, a real person, and that is how I will govern. Thank you.